Boarding school Juliet takes place at Dahlia Academy Boarding School, where students come from two rivaling countries known as the Nation of Tua and Principality of West. This academy segregates its student body into two dormitories which reflects their nationality, the Black Dogs housing those from Tua and the White Cats housing those from the West. The story follows Romeo, the first-year leader of the Black Dog dormitory. Romeo has had an unrequited love for Juliet, the first-year leader of the White Cat dormitory, since childhood. Persia has always been thinking that Romeo and she have been opponents during childhood, middle school, and high school as well, but she never realized that he could be in love with her. There's a fight going to start between Romeo and Persia, and Scott, who is a guy teammate and also an admirer of Persia, says to her that he will protect her if Persia gives the permission to him. Hearing that, Romeo gets mad as he has actually been loving her and doesn't want her to be hurt by other guys. Besides, he is also jealous towards other guys who want her attention. Persia can't understand Romeo's behavior, she's not aware of his feelings towards her, and she is just able to interpret everything, negatively thinking that Romeo always makes a fool of her, and she does not like it, and becomes aggressive and hostile towards Romeo. When Percy was walking back to the dormitory after the incident with Black Dogs, Maru, who is a student of Black Dogs, and his gang sneak up on her in the Rose Garden and attack her with pepper spray. They suppress and nearly assault her. Although she is rescued by Romeo, she has a confusion that she was attacked by Romeo, so Persia ends up running away, crying at the same time. As her mind is in the fog, she decides to invite Romeo to the fountain in the plaza alone to talk and discuss the matter. Romeo gets the letter of invitation from Persia and becomes excited. When they meet, she asks him why he saved her. She wants him to explain that if it's because of pity, she hates it, as she is a kind of girl who is fighting the stereotypes and always wants the strength and power not to lose against men. She has a biggest goal ahead to change the stereotypes and revolutionize the world. Romeo was never aware of this, that is why during fights with her, he was always very gentle, not to hurt her. And that is because he loved her secretly. Realizing the truth, Romeo agrees to duel her. That was a tough and emotional duel, as with every strike of the sword, Romeo confesses that he loves her. In the beginning, Persia does not believe him, thinking that he's making a fool of her again and keeps on fighting against him with more effort, but when Romeo tells her that despite his roots, he's aiming to be at her side and help her out, she pushes him down and throws him in the fountain, agreeing on to go out with him secretly, of course, as love between the students of White Cats and Black Dogs is forbidden. White Cats and Black Dogs start fighting. It is one of everyday fights, which is a very common thing to happen between them. Every team has the purpose to prove that they are stronger and defeat the other team. Hasuki is fighting tooth and nail with them. She is one of Black Dogs who is very dedicated to her team and will do everything for the sake of Black Dogs. She is in love with Romeo. During the fierce fight, Romeo realizes that he can't be a fight leader as he loves Persia and can't think of fighting her. In the middle of the fight, he kidnaps Persia and wants to spend some time with her. Persia can't understand this. She considers his actions stupid and dangerous. She doesn't want others to see them together. As they talk over this, Persia leaves him, acting as she's offended. Sometime later, despite the danger, Romeo climbs up her window to apologize for that and wants to give her a cross as a little gift. He's being seen by one of the guys of White Cats, Scott, and falls down. Black Doggies, thinking it was Persia who threw him away from the window, want to protect their teammate Romeo and keep their reputation high, so they rush to her for revenge. At the same time, Romeo is being beaten and bullied by White Dogs, which leads to an unfortunate thing. The cross that he wanted to give to Persia breaks. He gets extremely mad and destroys a statue which was standing there near him. As he is too furious to calm down, he attacks his opponents and throws them away one after the other while rotating himself as a tornado, which was very impressive. As a punishment for what he has done, he is sent to the shore to pick grass. Persia, knowing that he is there, comes to him and invites him to row a boat. During rowing, Persia sees that the cross that Romeo wanted to give her is broken. Seeing that he is sorry for that, she gives him her own rosary, which is a precious possession of hers. There is a custom that the Westerns have. They give rosaries to the ones they love as a symbol of love. Romeo is very thankful. Soon they go to the confessional to discuss how they can arrange their meeting, as they do really want to go on a date, but the risk of being seen is high. Moreover, the day of the 3-monthly outing to the town of Dahlia arrives. Persia dresses up like a black dog to fool people around and not be seen. When Persia is in her new outfit, people show too much attention to her. They get interested in her as she is very cute and girlish but wears a male uniform. Even Scott gets confused as he smells Lady Persia, but ends up seeing a foolish black doggy passing the street. Romeo introduces her to others, saying that he is a relative of his, he is in middle school, and his name is Giulio. All of this was arranged in order to have a nice and private date, but unfortunately, they end up not being alone and followed by Black Dogs everywhere. Romeo had plans of dining in the restaurant with a view of the ocean with her, but it fails as all the tables there are reserved. Romeo gets nervous about not getting what he aimed for and wanted, as the date day almost finished, but he could not fulfill his wishes about the perfect date. All of a sudden, he sees a zombie house and takes Persia there to seek some privacy with her and get rid of others, but Persia goes away. Suffering from that awful day, Romeo is being attacked by one of the black dogs who had some unsolved problems with him. Romeo is being thrown into the water. He can't swim and is being bullied by that guide who enjoys putting the outsole of his shoe on Romeo and makes him suffer. Persia comes and saves him. Romeo thanks her and Persia explains to him why she disappeared. It turns out she was feeling discomfort in those clothes and wigs she was wearing. She says that she is satisfied with the date they had because she thinks it is a way of getting to know each other better. The first Princess Char of West arrives at school. She knows about Persia and Romeo. As she has seen them, she has even taken a picture of them together. She makes terms for Romeo in order to be quiet. She wants him to be his hound. Romeo gets mad, but he does not have any other option as he wants to protect both Persia and their relationship. Either his love is in danger or he obeys her. He can do anything for Persia's safety. Princess Char is very selfish and likes to dominate and make everyone her servants. Everything worsens as the princess makes him a doormat, dominating him the way she wants. Black dogs are confused about Romeo's behavior. They are getting mad at Romeo because he behaves himself badly, obeying that princess of white cats and destroys his reputation as a leader of black dogs. Hasuki is confused too. She is the one convincing the black dogs that there is something which makes Romeo behave like that. No matter what, Hasuki is always there to support Romeo. Persia is confused too. She is rarely having normal time to mingle up with her lover. As soon as Romeo meets her, the princess whistles up, calling Romeo to fulfill her wishes. Romeo is not happy with the situation either. He is in search of the princess's weakness to blackmail her the way she does to him. Soon he enters her room and finds a secret door behind the mirror which leads into a collection of Persia's pics that the princess had been collecting and hiding. It turns out she loves Persia. They have been friends from childhood, and during time there evolved some feelings towards her. So she wanted to hinder Persia's relationship with Romeo. Not like Princess Char, Romeo is understanding and empathetic towards her. Black dotties are having test terms. Hasuki is on the watch, stricter as ever. Persia, dressed like a boy, Giulio, came here as she was invited by Romeo. She gets surprised seeing Hasuki like that. But Hasuki has an exact purpose, as she is very team devoted and she does not want any of her schoolmates to fail. She mainly does that for Romeo as she's in love with him secretly. Romeo, realizing Hasuki was the first one he made friends with, wants to be honest and fair with her about his secret relationship with Persia. He thinks she will understand him as she is his real friend there. He comes to Hasuki and tells her everything. Hasuki gets shocked, sad, jealous, and mad at the same time. These emotions get over her one by one. She sees that she has unrequited love towards him and how foolish she was always waiting for him to love her back. Hasuki reminds him about seppuku, according to which if a black dog falls in love with a black cat, they must be beheaded. Hasuki is dedicated to black dogs and can't accept Romeo. She chases him to punish him. Finally, after much running, Romeo decides to face her. Hasuki strikes him with a sword, but remembers that he was her first friend during childhood and she cannot hide the love that she has towards him. Persia and Char were there and they were watching all of this. All of a sudden, Persia falls from the hill to the flowing river. Romeo falls after her to save her, but unfortunately, he cannot even swim. They manage to be saved fortunately, and nothing bad happens. In the end, Hasuki explodes with all of emotions and accepts Romeo and wants to stay friends with him. Romeo has been thinking that it is a must for Persia to cook something delicious for him. He tells Persia about that, considering it's been a while they are in a relationship, so the time has come. Persia's nervous, she's not that good at handling that. She burns the cookies she put in the oven. She is desperate, but of course, she tries to bring him something. Suddenly, Princess Char appears and confiscates the food, saying, "I've never tried a food made by Persia." Romeo runs after her, but in vain, as Princess Char throws the bento by mistake and it flies away, falling on Scott's head. Persia appears and Scott thinks that the bento is made for him as Persia is being too kind to him. Arriving there, Romeo kicks Scott and he falls down. They start to fight, punching each other and labeling each other with offensive words. Persia is standing there trying to convince them to stop, but in vain. Scott throws Romeo towards the tree, reminding Romeo about his past and how Persia saved him. Romeo becomes too furious to be stopped. He uproots a tree, showing his anger, requesting Scott to give the bento back to him. The bento flies away again and Romeo runs like a wind to get it. Unfortunately, it falls down in the stable and becomes a nice lunch for pigs there. Seeing Romeo is suffering, Persia confesses that the bento was made by the maid. She says that she is not good at cooking and she had burnt the cookies and was ashamed to give those to him. Persia gives him the burned cookies she had made. Romeo pretends they were tasty, but he does not like the taste. Persia is not happy about that. There will be a sports festival soon between black dogs and white cats. Black doggies are being trained, which is all organized by Hasuki. Romeo doesn't feel like participating. Persia calls him to train together and motivates him to participate. Romeo got super excited about training with Persia. He washes himself, takes care of his hygiene, and goes there. They practice the three-legged race together, touching each other and being that close to each other. Romeo gets motivated and inspired. Persia tells him that she is eager to win the MVP title. The competition begins. The first event is the tug of war. Black doggies are about to win, but Somali of white cats is a really powerful girl. She's the one who pulls the ropes strongly in her team. Unfortunately, she's being praised by Abby, gets excited, and loses herself. Black doggies win. Abby is a narcissist and Somali is a girl having super flexible and powerful abilities, but her weakness is Abby, as she's in love with him. Being a narcissist, Abby set up his mind to win the competition and earn the MVP title. The second event is the athletic course. Maru runs and spills some spike trap on the bridge for Princess Char, but the latter is being carried on the chair. Maru tries to complain to ref about that, but in vain. White cats win. Those are followed by the three-legged race, the balloon-popping race, and the 100-meter dash. The girls' 100-meter race is won by Persia. The boys' 100-meter race is won by Romeo. The scores are even, so the winner will be chosen in the second half of the competition. The seventh event is the stick down, where Persia and Somali have the main role. But suddenly, Somali steps on Persia's foot, which is too painful for Persia, as there were spikes under Somali's shoe. The next event is the men and women mixed relay. Scott and Romeo start the race with Hasuki and Persia continuing it. At the end of the race, Persia falls down as her foot was hurt by Somali during the previous event. Somali was told by Abby to step on her foot. Abby is waging a faction war with Persia over the white cats. It turns out this was a part of a scheme to cause Persia's faction to collapse all at once. Persia can't participate anymore because of the injury. The last event is the cavalry battle. It starts fiercely. Hasuki's unit makes the most impact, but all of a sudden one of Hasuki's teammates' mind goes blank and Hasuki's being eliminated. Not only Hasuki, but all black doggies are being defeated one by one. They are sleeping because they drank water with a sleeping pill in it. It's a trap set by AB. Persia was upstairs in a room in all tears and sad. Princess Char and Romeo are outside the room supporting her. Before going back to the competition, Romeo tells her to come to see how he will win that bastard AB. Persia comes dressed like Giulio to motivate Romeo to win. Romeo gets inspired. If he and Maru cooperate, they have the chance to win. AB's teammate falls down by an electroshocker used by one of the black doggies. Romeo calls AB for a duel. He throws him into the stands with just one hand. The victory is theirs, but all of a sudden Romeo calls Persia, saying their victory is fake without fighting against her. Romeo and Persia start to fight each other. They push each other. Both get tired but keep on fighting. Suddenly Romeo touches her breasts, and from its softness he loses himself and loses the match. Black dogs get mad and label him with the word pervert. So the MVP is Persia. Romeo is being bullied by everyone. He feels himself embarrassed, but Persia is by his side. After the competition, there is always a party held where there is a jinx that makes the MVP and their dance partner a couple forever. Romeo is outside being punished for his foolish behavior, as there are some stones put on his legs as a punishment. Persia comes to him and wants to spend time with him, telling him about the jinx and inviting him to dance. Romeo teaches her a two-a dance. After some time, Romeo becomes ill. Hasuki is worried about him. Persia, dressed like Giulio, comes to see him. Romeo does not want her to see him that week. He pretends to be tough. Persia tells him that she did not know he was ill. She just came because she wanted to see him. She finds an erotic magazine which was given to him by another fellow of black dogs after finding out his love towards boobies. Romeo is embarrassed. He tries to explain. Persia goes to bring him something to eat, but gets lost as the school of black dogs is huge. She encounters Maru and is scared of him and his investigative questions. After strolling around the school, she comes to Romeo and spends a lovely and challenging time with him, both enjoying being next to her partner and being scared of being seen there. Today is the Harvest Festival, which is across the lake from campus. Romeo and Persia discuss how to meet there secretly. Romeo is under a bench, and when he gets up, he is being attacked by the two prefects, who make him troubled. Romeo did not even know that they were prefects and reacts harshly to them. Hasuki appears and asks him to be careful, as they are prefects. The prefects suspect that Romeo hides a secret. They follow him during the festival. Romeo and Persia do their best to hide themselves in a barrel from those two prefects. They manage to do that as those two give up following Romeo and find two people fighting. They need to prevent that, as they are responsible for that. Romeo leaves Persia for a moment and goes to the prefects to play with them and make friends with them. The kids are happy now and they leave Romeo alone. Romeo gets nervous because the fireworks start and he didn't manage to get to Persia, so that they watch the fireworks together. He gets there late, hopelessly thinking Persia is mad at him, but Persia's not. She's proud of him as he played with the kids and made them happy. Soon it's Persia's birthday and Princess Char and Romeo are excited to give her gifts. Romeo is still followed by the prefects. They are stalking him and he needs to be careful. As wandering through the shops, Char and Romeo elect the same fluffy cat as a gift and they fight over who shall get it. Unfortunately, they rip that fluffy toy. Soon Princess Char gets into trouble as a policeman sees her strolling around the streets thinking that she skipped her lesson. The policeman tries to send her to the lesson strictly, but Char, getting into her lovely charm, convinces him that she has an escort, which turns out to be Romeo dressed like White Cats, who is mad at that time being stuck in that situation with the princess. To make things calmer, Char says that she knows what Persia wants and manipulates Romeo. It gets darker and starts to rain, but they are still wandering along the streets. At the same time, the prefects are still thinking about Romeo and the rosary which they had found in his room. Aeru, who is Romeo's older brother and the rep of Black Doggies, comes to the prefects. Char and Romeo wait for the rain to stop. Char starts to enchant him, but in vain. She has the purpose to split Romeo and Persia up. Seeing that it is impossible, she leaves him and starts to think about her childhood and selfishness. Suddenly, she's being attacked by radicals. She protects herself by kicking one's face. Romeo comes and saves her. Char gets emotional. Then she opens up about what Persia asked her to do on her birthday. She asked her to help her spend her birthday with Romeo. She thanks Romeo for being her escort and gives him a present. That's the bra she has bought. Romeo gets mad, but he gets an arrow with a message on it. Persia's waiting for him in the library. She invites him to his birthday, and as Romeo asks, she says that as a present she wants a pear accessory. He becomes excited and comes back to his room where a big surprise is waiting for him. Aeru, surrounded by the prefects, is there waiting for him. As Romeo gets to him, he asks where he was at that late hour. Aeru is the student rep. Romeo does not have good relations with him. He's holding the rosemary in his hand, asking Romeo where he got it from. Then he shows him the brad Char had got and again asks a question about it. Romeo is being embarrassed. He does not know what to answer. He was not expecting that. Aeru reminds him about the treaty between the Black Dogs and White Cats and rules of it. If it turns out he's in love with the girl of White Cats, he would be a traitor. Romeo will be under surveillance for a week. If Aeru's doubts are alleviated, then he'll be set free. Persia managed to cook tasty cookies for Romeo this time and she's happy about that. In the meantime, Romeo is being escorted. He's being watched. He remembers that his brother had never been kind to him but always strict. He was traumatized by his over-discipline and spanking. Finally, it's Persia's birthday. Romeo escapes from his room thinking that he'll manage to go and celebrate Per's birthday and come back within an hour. But Aeru is still at the gates watching him. Romeo starts to fight with him. Aeru is flexible enough to avoid his punches. Romeo gets punched on the face. He falls down. He is not there yet to fight and win against his brother. Aeru locks him, remembering the good old days. The prefects come to him and he is being set free by the prefects, who were convinced by him of his plan of escaping for 2 hours. They are eager to help him. But he's not okay. He's weaker now, losing his body's strength. He runs to get to Persia, but he can't. He's falling down on Persia's knees. Persia's there to stop him. She knows everything as Hasuki has told her. Persia starts to avoid him, all because she realizes that her lover is in danger. Romeo chases her to talk. Rejected by Persia, Romeo is stressed. He is ready to risk and see her lovely Persia, but Persia is thinking rationally. Hasuki is there to support Romeo. She supports him but can't get over her feelings towards him. At the same time, Persia suffers. It's her birthday, but she doesn't feel like it, as she wants her lover to be by her side, which is impossible. In the meantime, the White Cats are preparing for Lady Persia's birthday. Princess Char is there to support Persia. She brings to Romeo the birthday cookies Persia had made for him, inspiring him to join Per's birthday party. Romeo and Hasuki plan to do Persia's birthday celebration in their own way as they used to do it. They get to their school waiting for Persia to come to throw cakes at her face. Romeo tries to find Persia, but she's being locked by their rep on purpose to protect her. Romeo is encountered by the rep of White Cats and they start to fight. The rep is stronger than he is. Realizing that Romeo traps him easily and jumps out of the window. Then he's being held and taken inside through another balcony by Persia. They confess about their feelings and how worried they actually are. Persia realizes that instead of running away, she can be brave enough to face the trouble and overcome it with having Romeo next to her. The rep of Black Doggies comes to the party place. Romeo and Persia make a show as if they are fighting and throwing cakes at each other. The rep, realizing it is just a fake show, comes to Romeo and asks straight if that's Persia he's colluding with. Both Romeo and Persia get frozen for a moment. The students all around start to murmur. Persia opposes him and protects herself, asking if he has any proof of that. The rep mentions about the Rosemary and Romeo's calendar where her birthday date is circled out. Persia considers them circumstantial. The rep shows the bra as well, saying if it's a match for Persia, then he's not mistaken. They both get embarrassed. They both are taken aside to explain themselves. Suddenly, Persia throws a sword to Romeo, inviting him for a duel. She says that her reputation is important to her. She acts in a very tough and determined way. Romeo is scared to hurt her in the beginning, but remembering Persia's words about being brave and not running away, he starts to act like one. They both show their best, and as a surprise to everyone, they hurt each other badly, pointing at the neck. Everyone's worried and scared. Most of the students consider their fight as a very dangerous and foolish idea. That was too much. They are taken to a special hospital room where they lay next to each other. It turns out their plan worked very well, and as a result, they just broke their rosemarys but did not hurt themselves. None of them is hurt. They start to talk, and Romeo gives her a birthday present, matching rings. Persia is touched and excited. She wears the ring on her finger. Romeo tells her he wants to become a rep at the school and change its rules totally. He is fed up with the stereotypes there. Then Romeo goes to his older brother Ayuru to talk with him. His doubts are almost gone. Ayuru warned him never to act like that, as it was too dangerous, as the reps of the two schools had been called by the headmasters of the schools and were warned never to let such a thing happen again. Romeo and Persia end up together, but they need to be careful. Romeo joins the prefects to learn from them, as he's too determined to become one.